Justin Bieber and Usher reportedly got into a fight at an Oscars after party. Multiple people told TMZ that this fight turned into a physical fist fight. Then a source that's close to Justin Bieber told TMZ that nothing physical broke out, but Usher walked up to Justin Bieber at this Oscar after party and was very heated and angry. And then things just escalated where they were both yelling at each other. I wish I could have just been a fly on the wall, because sources are also telling TMZ that Justin Bieber just wants to erase everybody from his past. This part really isn't surprising, because in 2025, when Justin Bieber was dealing with all of those things and following Scooter Braun and all of this, he also unfollowed Usher. We all know Usher and Scooter Braun are the ones that signed a very young Justin Bieber. I'm not gonna lie, I can't help but think back when all of this was happening in early 2025, when a lot of us thought that Justin Bieber was very much struggling mentally, and we saw him removing himself from everybody in his past. The only thing that was ever really reported is that Justin Bieber might have had some money that came up missing over a period of time, and he finally realized it. The reason why I found those reports so interesting is the fact that at the same time he was deleting Usher, Scooter Braun, and everybody from his life when he was younger, he also fired his business manager, Lou Taylor of TriStar. Yeah, the Lou Taylor that was managing Britney Spears when she was put into her conservatorship. And yes, TriStar, her business, who was also named in the Diddy trial as allegedly paying some of the male workers. Honestly, this is some tea that I want to figure out what was the reason for this heated argument that almost allegedly turned into a fist fight.
After it was over,
Justin Bieber signed his first big record deal that the record label executive, L.A. Reid, described him as a gift from Usher, but hold on, he said much worse. Quote, "This kid was beautiful, like a woman can be beautiful and men rarely are, and he turned it on as soon as he stepped into the room." L.A. Reid recalled how Usher brought Justin Bieber to him in October 2008, saying he had something he wanted to bring him. Around 4 p.m. that day, Usher arrived in the office with an adorable 14-year-old boy, a boy that L.A. Reid was so excited to corrupt.
14-year-old Justin Bieber walks into my office as a gift from Usher. Said, "Hey, I'm coming to your office at 3 o'clock. I have a very special gift for you." That day, we made a deal to sign Justin Bieber.
Keep in mind, L.A. Reid is the one who sent Usher to Diddy's Flava camp, the same camp that Usher said he would never send his children, but willingly sent Justin Bieber. L.A. Reid wrote in his memoir that Justin had a beautiful face, trendy hair, and natural charisma. L.A. Reid himself discovered Usher, and they would often exchange gifts, so I guess like pop stars to each other. Keep in mind that L.A. Reid has been accused of crimes similar to Diddy, SA, and her. He was quoted saying, "I could see immediately that Justin's hair would be every bit as important as his songs, his voice, his face, his presence." These people absolutely objectified Justin Bieber in the worst way possible, and I'm looking forward to—
People believed that, Usher was groomed by Diddy.
He wasn't only groomed by Diddy, he was groomed by L.A. Reid, the rest of them too, man. Because they knew what happened. Then they came out and brought him back, and all of a sudden, he's getting all the great tracks. He's getting all the songs. They making him into this star, even though he may have been a—
They seem to be pretty good friends.
Well, they probably is.
I mean, they did a lot of work together, man, throughout their whole career. Puff was
Bruh.
early in his career. Puff and Usher were working together when Usher was just a kid, all the way up. I mean, I think there's videos from not too long ago when they were together, and Puff is making jokes about how they used to wrestle for the Frosted Flakes in the morning, and
Yeah, I bet they did. Somebody frosted somebody frosted somebody flakes.
Hollywood has always been built on illusion. Perfect smiles, perfect interviews, perfect careers. But every once in a while, something happens that completely breaks the image. And according to multiple reports coming out of Oscars weekend, that's exactly what just happened between Hollywood has always been built on illusion. Perfect smiles, perfect interviews, perfect careers. But every once in a while, something happens that completely breaks the image. And according to multiple reports coming out of Oscars weekend, that's exactly what just happened between Justin Bieber and Usher. Because inside one of the most exclusive celebrity parties in the world, a party reportedly attended by names like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Timothée Chalamet, and Taylor Swift, things allegedly became so heated between Bieber and Usher that witnesses immediately started talking. And the most disturbing part? People close to the situation reportedly claimed Usher approached Justin angry, not emotional, not concerned, angry. At first, the internet treated it like another celebrity drama story, another Hollywood argument, another viral headline. But then, fans started revisiting old interviews, old clips, old relationships. And suddenly, this stopped looking like a random confrontation. It started looking like years of buried tension finally exploding in public. And according to some viewers online, this connects to something much darker happening inside the music industry itself.
I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious it is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like, what kind of do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young. Now, if Usher is a procurer, and if Usher knew what was gonna happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy?
I seen some things I shouldn't have been seeing at that age. What does that tell you? That he's seen some things, he was around some things when he was young that he shouldn't have been at a Diddy party. So that's going to show you that there's certain things that are happening that's going on that here it is, this kid was saying he shouldn't even seen it.
Oh, Raymond Usher the fourth?
No.
Do you know an individual entertainer by the name of Usher?
Yeah, Usher. That sounds familiar.
Isn't it true that Usher was instrumental in starting your career?
What does that have to do with this litigation, Mr. DeKalb? This is just you trying to the client.
Before we came back here, you had asked me.
She's gonna
Let her read back the question. Thank you for your memory.
Is it true that Usher was very instrumental in starting the band?
That was the last question. I was found on YouTube. I think that I was detrimental to my own career.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all. I'm sitting right next to you. Okay,
I said I think I was instrumental to my own
hear back
career.
from the report reporter.
Instrumental.
Said I think I was instrumental to my own career.
Thank you, sir. But my question was Usher, was he helpful to your professional career?
Yes.
Is Usher a close friend of yours?
Yes.
Is Usher a confidant?
I guess, yes.
Has Usher given you career advice?
Is this an interview or?
Him and be like, yo, we lost this kid.
There was a time where I would go to sleep almost every night when he had the money to fly away from me. And I was worried every night that I was going to lose him. And that was the time where I was telling him he's not allowed to work. And he used to yell and scream at me, and like he wanted to put music out, he wanted to tour, but I thought if he did that, he would die.
Right.
So I just refused. Like, we weren't making any money. It wasn't like I was trying to take advantage. Like, I didn't want him to work because I wanted him to get healthy.
So when you say lose him, you thought?
I thought he was going to die. I thought he was going to go to sleep one night and have so much in his system that he would not wake up the next morning. And I was trying to monitor him from a distance. I would fly after him at times, like all kinds of different stuff. And there's a lot of times where people give me credit for him changing, or people on my team. And I don't think any of us deserve the credit. I think that he made a conscious choice for him.
At first, nobody understood why this mattered so much. But then people started connecting the dots, and that's when the story became disturbing. According to reports circulating online, there may not have been a physical fight, but almost everyone agrees something serious happened. Because even after Justin's team denied anything physical, they never denied the argument itself, and they never denied the tension.
As a young man, if I don't allow him to make mistakes, he'll never learn. So I think my job is less about stopping him now and more about when he does fall, I got to be there to help him get back up. When it comes to what's happened to him the last 9 months, it took its toll because I had to remind myself what was real and what wasn't. Because I think at one point the media started spinning so much that you can't address everything. And I had to kind of remind myself of what is reality and what is being blown up out of proportion.
I get a lot of heat because I stand up for Justin. I'm Team Bieber. I've said it a million times on the show. But his fans want to honestly know from someone who knows him very well, is Justin in a good place right now?
He's figuring out who he wants to be. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that every 19-year-old is in that place where they're trying to figure out in life where they're going, where they want to be, what they want to represent, and that's a struggle. The answer is yes, as far as he's a good natural place. Is he in a good place as far as, is he, you know, happy all the time and is everything easy? No, absolutely not. But, you know, with that adversity is going to come, you know, it's going to blossom into manhood.
How much of the negative press is deserved, Scooter?
Look, I think 90% of it is not deserved, but it's our culture. I think that there are times where, being a teenager, he will be frustrated with the lies about himself, and then he will actually act out and give them more ammo. Great Wall of China is a perfect example. He spent 2.5 hours walking on the Great Wall of China, visiting stuff, shooting stuff, hanging out with friends, taking in the sight.
That silence made people curious, because over the last year, fans noticed Justin Bieber slowly disappearing from the people who once controlled nearly every part of his career. Managers, mentors, executives, longtime industry connections. One by one, he started cutting them off, quietly. No giant public statements, no dramatic interviews, just distance. And one of the biggest names fans noticed, Usher, which shocked people, because for years, Usher wasn't just seen as Bieber's mentor, he was presented almost like family. The man who discovered him, protected him, guided him into superstardom. That was the public narrative. But according to many fans online, the way Justin has behaved recently tells a very different story. Because people noticed something else. Every time Justin talks about younger artists now, his energy changes completely. The tone becomes emotional, protective, almost fearful. And years later, those old interviews suddenly sound completely different.
He would sell my music. I knew he would do that. I couldn't believe who he sold it to, because we've had endless conversations about Scooter Braun, and he has 300 million reasons to conveniently forget those conversations.
Now, could you re-record?
Oh, yeah.
Might you do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The public saw a celebrity struggling with fame, but some viewers now believe they were watching someone trying to escape an industry system he no longer trusted. And this is where the story takes an even darker turn. Because people didn't just revisit the recent argument, they started revisiting Justin Bieber's entire childhood career, especially the adults surrounding him when he was only 13 and 14 years old.
She has a hell of a voice, and she is the sweetest, nicest person. And it's a pleasure to work with her because everything that happens to her is so exciting.
Well, apparently it hasn't always been a pleasure working with Ariana Grande. Scooter Braun is opening up about the time she fired him.
At the end of the day, I just sort of have to focus, know my truth, work hard, be nice to everyone you meet, and just not fight back. I try to create and maintain, but sometimes it's very hard.
Speaking at Fast Company's Innovation Festival this week, Scooter revealed the Break Free singer let him go in 2016, hinting it was all due to her boyfriend at the time. Quote, "I could have said a lot of stuff, and in fact my team wanted me to. They were like, never take her back. But I just said, let's stay quiet and let our truth be our actions." Adding, when boyfriends leave, she starts to see the light on some stuff. Scooter took Ariana back on as a client, and he says the whole thing actually made him a better manager. Quote, "I had never been fired before. It made me know that as much as you give to people in a service business, you can never expect anyone to reciprocate. You have to do it for the right reasons, and if you get screwed over in the end, so be it."
I just needed to do, what was right and work hard, and my work will speak for itself.
Now, it's unclear who the, quote, boyfriend was, as the timing falls somewhere between Ariana's relationships with Big Sean and Mac Miller, who died unexpectedly at the age of 26 this.
One name that immediately resurfaced was L.A. Reid. In his memoir, L.A. Reid described the moment Usher introduced him to a young Justin Bieber. At the time, most people thought nothing of it, but years later, social media started revisiting those exact words. And according to many critics online, the way Justin was described made people uncomfortable, not because of the talent discussion, but because of how heavily his appearance, beauty, and image were emphasized while he was still a child. And suddenly, old Hollywood stories started feeling less glamorous and more unsettling, especially after fans revisited interviews where Usher himself admitted he experienced things as a teenager that he felt children should never be exposed to. That clip changed everything, because people immediately started asking the same question. If Usher believed those environments were dangerous, then why introduce Justin Bieber into the exact same circles? And that question opened a much bigger conversation online, not just about Bieber, but the entire music industry system.
Machine, I thought I was going to work with all the artists on Big Machine. I thought it was going to be like an exciting thing. I knew that Taylor, she and I had only met 3 times, I think in my life, 3 or 4 times. And one of the times, it was years earlier, it was really a great engagement. She invited me to her private party, and we respected each other. We had a great engagement. In between that time, since I'd seen her last, I started managing Kanye West. I managed Justin Bieber. I knew she didn't get along with them. I had a feeling, this is where my arrogance came in. I had a feeling she probably didn't like me because I managed them, but I thought that once this announcement happened, she would talk to me, see who I am, and we would work together. And the announcement came out, and I'm calling Scott Borchetta and saying, hey, send me her number. I just talked to Thomas Rhett, and he's excited. And I just talked to, this person, and they're excited. And I'm calling, Florida Georgia line next. And, oh, I'm gonna get you. And then this Tumblr comes out and it says all this stuff. And I was just like.
At the time, people saw opportunity. Years later, many viewers started seeing exploitation. And then another voice entered the story. Jaguar Wright. For years, Jaguar Wright has made explosive allegations about powerful figures inside the entertainment industry. Some people completely dismiss her. Others believe she's exposing a hidden culture most celebrities are terrified to talk about publicly.
A video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billie. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown, girl, with Drake. These people are monsters.
Could it possibly have to do with everything he went through resurfacing in the last 2 years? It certainly wouldn't have been easy to ignore what he went through in his early teens, especially considering all of Diddy's crimes also started coming to light around this period. That and the added fear of something compromising being released about him must have taken a toll on him.
Justin Bieber is talking as much as he can, but I'm sure it's difficult for him to do, considering the fact that he's on those tapes. And I can tell you right now, every young man that was taken advantage of by Diddy was not only and hallucinated and put under some form of weird hypnosis, they've all committed crimes, whether they were in their right mind or not. In order to be that close to that kind of devil, you have to have some kind of dirt on you. That's the only way he'll trust having you around. I have no doubt in my mind Justin Bieber was put in a compromising situation somewhere along the way. There is footage of it that will make him look like a monster, just like Usher. He was there to see all of those.
But after the allegations surrounding Sean Combs exploded into headlines, people suddenly started paying closer attention to what she had been saying for years. Because according to Jaguar Wright, there's a pattern inside the industry, a cycle. Young artists entering fame too early, being surrounded by powerful adults, then emotionally collapsing years later while the public watches in confusion. Now, to be clear, these remain allegations and online theories. There is no public evidence confirming many of these claims. But the reason people became obsessed with the story is because fans started noticing similarities everywhere. Justin Bieber, Usher, child stardom, industry mentorship, emotional breakdowns, isolation. Suddenly, all of it started feeling connected. And according to many viewers, that recent confrontation at the Oscars party may have been about much more than a simple disagreement. Some fans believe it may represent years of unresolved resentment finally boiling over.
Stories, they're gonna try to get girls that he probably dated, that he had problems and issues with and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to do the same thing they probably did to R. Kelly or Puff or whatever like that, and people tell their stories. You understand? But, you know, they trying to retaliate on what he did. Let him go ahead, bruh. Because I think he ready for it. You don't do this, and you don't do the stuff that he did or sign on to the stuff that he did with Puff. Unless you got your Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. I believe 50 ready for it. If they come at him